Welcome to Audiobook da Morgan. Today's reading is Utz, chapter 22, by Bruce Chatwin. But before we start, please subscribe on my channel and press the button to activate notifications.
Capítulo 22. He turned his attention to food. On his first day at Vichy, he had bought, from a bookshop in the Rue Clemenceau, a gastronomic guide to the region. He had always cared for his stomach, always befriended chefs. How often, in the war years, especially in moments of terror, did he recollect the pleasures of the table? The day the Gestapo took him for questioning, he had been unable to focus on the abstractions of death or deportation, only on the memory of a particular plate of haricots verts at a restaurant by a white road in Provence. Later, during the worst of the winter shortages, the months of cabbage, and potatoes, comforted himself with the thought that, when sanity returned and the frontiers were open, he would eat once again in France. He studied the guide with the fastidious dedication he usually reserved for porcelain hunting, where to find the best quenelles au riz escrevage, the best cervelles truffées, or épaulettes à la vessie, or the desserts, the bomorelis, bogonecci, or flagnoises. One could hear the gas in those names. Or the rare white wine of Chateau Grelais, which was said to taste of wine, flowers, and almonds, and behave like a capricious young woman. Putting his newfound knowledge to the test, he reserved a table at a restaurant beside the LR. The day was warm and sunny, sufficiently warm to eat outside on the terrace, under an awning of green and white striped canvas that flapped lazily in the breeze. There were 3 wine glasses set at each place. He watched the reflections of the Poplar Z bending across the river and the sand martins skimming over its surface. On the far bank, fishermen and their families had spread their picnics on the grass. The waiters were fussing over a prince of gastronomies who was paying his annual visit. He'd come in after Utz, flushed crimson in the face and perambulating his stomach before him. He tucked his napkin inside his collar and prepared to plough through an 8-course luncheon. At last, when the menu came, Utz gave a grateful smile to the maitre d'hôtel. He ran his eye over the list of specialities. He chose. He changed his mind. He chose again. An artichoke soup, trotte Montdois, and sucking pig, à la lyonnaise. Et combien, monsieur? What would you suggest? The wine waiter, taking Utz for an ignoramus, pointed to 2 of the more expensive bottles on the list, a Montrachet and a Chateau Margay. No Chateau Garret? No, monsieur. Very well, Utz acquiesced obediently. Whatever you recommend. The meal failed to match his expectations. Not that he could fault its quality or presentation, but the soup, although exquisite, seemed savourless. The trout was smothered in a sauce of Gruyere cheese, and the sucking pig was stuffed with something else. He looked again, enviously, at the picnickers on the opposite shore. A young mother rushed to save her child who had crawled to the water's edge. He would like to be with them, to share their course, homemade pies that surely tasted of something. Or had he lost his own sense of taste? The bill was larger than he expected. He left in a bad mood. He felt bloated and a little dizzy. He had also come to a depressing conclusion that luxury is only luxurious under adverse conditions. That now concludes chapter 22.